Welcome back to another Rockford UFS deck upgrade series. I have the reigning defending UK national champion, Canadian national champion, former Teams World champion, Kevin Broberg. Did I cover them all?
I'm also the reigning defending Team Canadian national champion.
Okay, my bad. Are you also your action? What was Bring Your Friends from?
Oh yeah, I'm the extended world champion.
Okay, there you go.
You're I also think that one might be in perpetuity because I think we're not going to have quote extended ever again.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, you have quite. Right. I don't know how Sean does it when he screams out all your titles. It's really, really daunting. And, it's a really good thing that he has such a loud voice and a lot of air and a lot of gusto because
he's like. He played a lot of instruments, but he's got that lung capacity.
Yeah, the lung capacity. Yeah, there you go. Okay, so people have seen these. This is the fourth in the episode, so I'm not going to explain what the entire series is about, but I elected to pull Kevin from the community to do a starter deck upgrade, obviously. He chose Ryu, or I think he might have just been given Ryu because it might have been the last one left, but I don't remember.
I like Ryu. I think that he's I like what he does. He's kind of straightforward. He doesn't do too much, but he's got some cool tools. Yep. And if you want to just jump right into it,
yeah, let's go for it.
So Ryu's Shinku Hadoken is like my favorite mechanic in the game.
Okay.
Whole game is powerful. I think it's just the whole game like feeds into powerful. Like your poke attacks, you want to sneak in a little bit of damage to get that momentum going, and then once you have powerful attacks, you can you have to figure out how to scale it just right, like spend just the right amount of momentum. You have two of them in your hand or whatever. Mm-hmm. You can make them both lethal, and it's also got EX, so it's a new tool that can make it much more kind of forcing, where your opponent doesn't have a chance to defend themselves to win.
Okay.
So this is a deck built around Ryu Shinku Hadoken in a lot of ways. Big picture, it's got 22 attacks and only 37 foundations, which is a little bit balanced more towards attacks, because you need to have 2 attacks from him to play Ryu Shinku Hadoken. Or to kind of get the most out of it, to be able to put 2 more cards in your hand in your momentum and turn into a base 11 damage attack. You can also scale its speed up higher instead.
Yeah.
So that's really the kind of the way you should expect to win your games with this deck is you play some pokes, you beat them down a little bit. If they're blocking, you get boosts to your checks. You can keep attacking them and pound into more damage. If they don't, you're getting momentum, and then you can just play a little bit more conservatively build after that. Mm-hmm. Play some defense. So there's 4 Shinku Hadokens because you need that's how I expect to win. But I think it's certainly possible to win without those. Okay. Let's go through the other 4X attacks real quick. We're playing a bunch of Asimov Katarina stuff because they're very powerful attacks. They have great stats, high speed, and really useful effects too. So Bloody Eye Rampage, that's you give it Ryu's bonus, and if your opponent doesn't interfere with it, which if they know what's going on, if they have some speed reduced, this happens a lot with the speed reduced your attacks to prevent you from drawing the card. Mm-hmm. But if everything's going well, this is a 5-speed mid for 5 that draws you a card for the cost of Foundation, which is a great raid.
Yep.
And then if they block it, you have loop to your check and all +3 damage to your next punch. And there's 7 more punches on top of the other cards of Blood Eye Rampage in this deck. Mm-hmm. So this is a real punishing attack. It puts some pressure on your opponent. The product of Foundations to block, and so in a late game scenario, we were trying to soften them up to connect with the Hadoken. This is a great card for that, and it's great every time in the game. It's also got a great block 1 mid. Mm-hmm. Bloody Eye Rushdown is the other 4 of. And so once again, this puts a lot of pressure on. 4-speed low turns into 5-speed low for 5. These stats are just awesome with Ryu. So 5-speed is, even if they have a +0 block, they need to check well to commit nothing. And oftentimes on low zone, they might only have a 2 or 3 block. That means they're guaranteed committing out, and also throwing cards out of their hand, all that stuff, and losing your checks because of Ryu's ability. And so this one readies one of your foundations that hasn't been ready this turn, and there's a maybe I'll do this out of I don't know. I'll finish the attacks, but there are some juicy targets to ready a foundation with.
Okay. And
also they don't block it, so if they're trying to deny you some plus to your checks with Ryu, you get to target commitment of their foundations, and that's an incredibly useful ability. There are all kinds of things that can go wrong. There's tons of defensive resources that can prevent Shinku Hadoken from connecting, or can return it to printed damage, for example. Those should be your number 1 priority with this card. Down to the 3-ofs, there's 2 3-ofs and then 2 2-ofs at the bottom. These are kind of the motivation here is just sort of have a mix-up, to not be too predictable, to have cards that are maybe a little less like abstractly powerful, they're a little slower, for instance, than the Bloody Eye series and Shinko Hadoken. But they provide a lot of utility, and they have good attributes that make them good inclusions. So Choke Throw, let's go to Choke Throw first. This card is the only high attack in this deck, which means that it's also a throw, so it's getting in damage almost no matter what happens. It's got 4 speed, so if they want to block it, that turns into 5. And they'll only be saving 2 life, plus it takes away some of your opponent's momentum and some of their vitality, almost unconditionally. So this is it's a tool to kind of, if your opponent's playing a lot of defense, Choke Throw will help break them open, will help kind of chip their life total down. And also, I can't help do this, but so there's 4 copies of Surveyor in this deck, and if your opponent's playing really tight defense and they're not giving you an opening, you can just Choke Throw them, and then next turn Surveyor to add a momentum back to your hand, Choke Throw them again, Choke Throw them again, Choke Throw them again, and just make them do something, and then hopefully you can survive whenever they attack you, and then they'll be open for a Shinko Hadoken at that point.
Yep.
The other 3-of is Toy Touch, which is only a 2 difficulty attack. It's a 2 speed over 2, which is absolutely tiny, but it gives you a lot of utility. It's got a great high block, which, if I remember right, this deck Chaos isn't great on having low modifier high blocks, so Toy Touch is kind of covering that vulnerability. It's only 2 difficulties, so you can kind of fit it into your attack string wherever you want, and almost never have to commit foundations. And as a low attack, there's several low attacks in this deck, so if you're sneaking in that damage, if you get it for 3 with Toy Touch, so like you didn't commit foundations to pass that, you feel great. And also, again, in the foundation base, there are 4 copies of the Hunt for Spiders and Dragons, which is kind of the premier card for this. But there's also several cards that flip as their costs. So Toy Touch lets you recycle those and give you kind of some creative plays to be able to make the most of this. And then in the 2-of slots, we have 2 slam attacks. We have Magnet Slam first, just go alphabetically, why not? Yep. This is kind of like Bloody Eye Rushdowns 5 and 6, sort of. It's only a 3. It's basically a 4 speed because you can have the Sun one is that to commit more foundations. It's got that high block again, and then its ability says your opponent cannot attempt to partially block. So if they don't have a low block in their hand, kind of the way you'll see this play out, the thing you should look for with this card is to lead with a Magnet Slam, and if your opponent doesn't want to take 5 damage to the face just for like you passing an almost free control check, they'll have to play their low block.
Yep. And
then you can play Bloody Eye Rushdown. Now they've played their 1 low block and get them for 5 more damage. Again, only 4 difficulty, and you'll get to commit a foundation and ready a foundation of your own. So that's kind of like a bread and butter string once you see it. And once you have a Bloody Eye Rushdown in your hand, the number 1 target, because I couldn't help myself from mentioning Surveyor. The card you should really lift to ready is Surveyor. So you can string together a long attack string and overall your opponent's blocks and really get the damage on the board. So awesome. The other 2-of is Yamato Slam, and this is kind of this is really a tool. Sort of, I realized that Ryu's second ability lets you draw a card after you fully block, and so I really wanted to have a reversible in this deck. In Yamato Slam, it's pretty slow, but it can get you a momentum if your opponent's stationary is supposed to be ready, or you just draw a card. And also, if you're holding a Yamato Slam in another block, you can often draw a block off of Ryu's ability, and then you'll be safe to reversal and still be able to keep defending yourself. And that can really, reversals are maybe the best way in the game to open up an opponent who's playing really tight defense, because you start attacking them, and then you get to ready all of your foundations and draw your new hand before you continue your offense, as long as you can survive. So I wanted to have some reversal in this deck. Reversals are very, very powerful tools, and everyone should get an experience playing some reversals because they're super powerful. Yeah, I agree. And also, I talked a lot about a lot of the attacks are low attacks. It's important to have some mid attacks too, because if your opponent has 1 mid block in their hand, if you can kind of get them guessing where they need to be holding it, playing a bunch of mid attacks can open them up to have a Shinko Hadoken. So if you draw a hand that's like Bloody Eye Rampage, Yamato Slam, Shinko Hadoken, they might block those mids just to say, well, I need to keep my life total high, or they might start half blocking the mids just from the threat of the Hadokens. Yeah. And then that's kind of one of the sort of more subtle things about UFS. It's kind of the zone mix-up, getting in your opponent's head and making them suffer. And that's why I wanted to put in this deck. So force your opponent to suffer.
I also like it that with like on the off chance that you do reversal with the Yamato Slam, an opponent probably will end up blocking it because they don't want to eat 6 damage to the face. You know,
six is a lot.
6 is a lot, and then I also see you have some damage pumps in your foundation base, so you could threaten a lethal reversal with it. It may be slow, but still, though, if they have to block it on their turn, that's ending their turn.
That feels great for you because they blocked it, they passed. You know, if they played an attack, so that's 1 card in their card pool.
Yep.
You reverse the Yamato Slam 4 speed after Ryu's pump. So if they have a +0 block, that's still on 5 difficulty. And if they have a +1, they're committing foundations and collecting their card pool. And if they want to attack you again, if they fully block it to save the electrical high, your check gets +1 from Ryu. So it's great as long as you can safely do it. Like if you're running just take it to the face, that's you get into some dangerous territory.
Yeah.
But so moving to the foundation base, what I like to do. What I would suggest doing, if you can go up to the top and hit sort cards by difficulty.
Yep, I've already done it.
Awesome. We just move up on the spams first, the 1-diffs.
That's fine.
Just because they're kind of they're important cards to have in your deck. And let's go with that.
Okay.
I was thinking maybe we can start at the bottom. But, so we have 2 copies of God of War. So this is a card. This is a card that has grown very near and dear to my heart at this point. Because of the deadlock mechanic, actually. Just the ability to destroy a foundation. And often this deck ends up having face-down foundations. It's cards that don't do terribly much. And if you'd much rather be at 10 foundations and have +1 to your check than be at 11 foundations and just have a card to commit. Even if it's ready, you'd rather be out of deadlock because there are a lot of dangerous deadlock abilities in the game right now. And also just, if you are going all in to kill your opponent, this can give you a lot of safety. Like you can pass your Shinko Doken at the end of your string, and even if you check a 3, like you just want to map out, okay, if I check a 3, how many 3s can I afford to check? Like if I check a 3 at the end, I can, if I have 2 foundations and Ryu ready, and I can God of War, it's playable off minutes, you can commit it first, and then even blow itself up, and then play Shinko on a 7, 3 foundations ready, +1 to my check. Worst thing I can check is a 3. That's really a 4. Commit 3, passes. So now I can EX and powerful with all of my momentum. So that's a kind of a it's a good worker beat. It fills in gaps, passes control checks, keeps you out of deadlock. It's a nice card, but it's only 2 of because it's not like you don't want to sacrifice your entire board.
Sure.
It's if you're not winning the game, it's not or you don't have a good reason to do it. You shouldn't be doing it.
Okay.
So Wanted Man is another kind of just filling holes. That's a flip effect. Gives you speed and damage and +1 to your control check. It's really just reuse enhance it all over again. It's just a fine little tool. You want to use it either when you're trying to force your opponent. It's just like +1, so it's little bits more chip damage. You want to guess if your opponent is more worried about taking too much damage but you can also use it to help pass your control check. Kind of same as God of War. If you time it right and they're worried about it and they want to block, that +1 to your check can be very valuable. I would suggest kind of not using this until you have a big attack string, because you want that +1 to your control check to be kind of the payoff. You want to just be okay, I'm just going to take extra damage because he used Wanted Man. I want to keep his control checks passing. That's the highest deck use.
I hate playing against a Ryu player who's throwing like maybe 2 attacks out, and then they Wanted Man on that second attack, and I'm like, oh god, I'm probably gonna die on the next one if I block this. So it's like, do I eat it and maybe survive and have a chance to block their last attack and make them try to hard check, or block it, save myself life, and then probably get pummeled in the face anyways? It's like one of those 2 sides of the coin thing. Neither option is good. One of those things. Yeah.
So Wanted Man. A lot of times when a card gives your opponent a choice, it's going to be you want to try to make it as much of a damage you do, damage you don't scenario.
Exactly.
And that's what you want to start. So the next 2 cards are, all right. So Design for Combat is a simple, straightforward card. It's really viewed as a staple, I think, for good reason. Simply, you can flip to discard a card and draw a card. If if you're in a mid-game scenario, you're trying to push for the kill, you can play your first attack and just see if you can draw another one, or if you can kind of upgrade something. You can use it to dig for blocks, especially if you draw a non-block card off of Ryu's response, you can turn that into something else with Design for Combat. Again, it's a flip cost, so you don't want to just steal this off for no reason. You want to use it at the right times. They're kind of, as a beginner, you want to look out for cards that sort of have a lot of ways to play them, a lot of different scenarios, and not just make sure you think about what you could use it for rather than just doing it at the first opportunity. I see that a lot.
Okay.
And it's kind of a way you can kind of gauge your growth as a player. Like as you play Dishonored Crown, you think about like how you can use it and where you can go with it. That's it's a simple card, but it's got a lot of uses. It's got a lot of ways to use it. One quick combo to look out for is Balanced Fighter with Dishonored Crown. It's kind of a bread and butter. See that all the time. When you discard Balanced Fighter, you draw a card. So you can design the combat, draw 2 cards.
Yeah.
So that's a great place to be. So next we have Bridging the Races. There's a lot of words on this one. So basically this is kind of another in the series of like God of War Wanted Ban, where what this is really in your deck for. So this is actually a lot like Wanted Ban. So both are 1/4s with a mid block even. They add 1 speed and 1 damage for one of your attacks. You can't use it on Reading Streak or No Kind of Choke Throw, but all the other attacks are compatible with it. And then if a card leaves or enters your staging area, so God of War can ready this, so it'll ready itself as an R commit, and it's playable committed. So you want to commit this first unless you need the damage, like you've kind of killed it up, the damage is going to matter, because then being able to ready it is very, it's like God of War, only it's free.
Yeah.
And there are several cards in this deck that can help you proc this. Toy Touch is another one in your attack base. You just bounce a face down or another card to ready your bridgings. And I'll touch on the other ones as we get to those. I love this card. It's super, like you feel really clever when you're getting the most out of this card.
Yeah. And
that's what I really like about it. So what are the 2 diffs? We've got some 2 and 3 diff, let's just go through all these, it's in the order I have them on my screen here. So Sweet Nothings is a very, very powerful defensive resource. And this deck wants to kind of be poking your opponent and getting some momentum going. And Sweet Nothings lets you turn that momentum into just like absolute counterspell. Your opponent's attack just vanishes into thin air. It stops resolving. If you're playing against people who are like net decking Coffee Samba decks, this is an incredible resource against them because they do the draw 2 thing, or they give it stun X. And then they pass the enhanced priority to you, so you can Sweet Nothings out of their card pool then. They never get a chance to stun it. Or if they're putting just piling up speed and damage on top of their attacks, Sweet Nothings can just blow them out of the water, kick it out of the card pool. Again, you want to be patient with this card. You don't want to use it just on especially because if you use it on their first attack, especially if they draw another attack, their control check to play it will be very easy.
Yeah.
So it's best to use this kind of late in their string, and especially because they have to respect it. If they start putting damage pumps on their attacks, they know you can just Sweet Nothings it away.
Mm-hmm.
And so and their early attacks will be a little bit smaller just out of respect for Sweet Nothings. So it's a very powerful tool. I think it's not everyone sees it as a staple, but I think it should be because it's very, very powerful.
Yeah, I think a lot of people see the opponent can draw a card thing as a negative, but I think living outweighs that big time.
Yeah.
So because there's a chance they, like you said, like if you play it if you bounce their attack, if it's like their second, like their third attack, and you make a bounce it, and they may not play another attack because they're not going to want to pass it. And if they had to commit foundations to play that attack you bounced anyways.
Yep, and there's a lot of ways in Bebop to make super, super speedy attacks in the metagame now. And Sweet Nothings is, Chaos isn't great at fighting back against those. So Sweet Nothings is your best way. Like people are putting 12 speed, 12 damage with Punch and Judy combo. Sweet Nothings is your best answer to that.
Yep.
But so next up on the list we have only a 2 of, kind of filling gaps. As I said, Chaos kind of sucks at blocking super speed attacks. So Adopted by Sensei is kind of a way to fill in that gap. There's only 2 of them. It's not a terribly effective card, but it's got a good low block. It's got +2 low block. And then you can flip and commit it to give your check to block +3. Well, so your next check +3, but you should use it before you're going to block.
Yeah.
Man, I do not want to play against Spirit Woman with this card. That'd suck. But and so basically, effectively -3 speed for a flip and commit. So it's kind of like -2 speed total. So you could have committed it otherwise.
Yeah.
You don't want to just like all the other flip cards in here, you don't want to just spew this off for no reason. If they have like a 4 speed attack and you have a +1 block, you might as well, like, if you have a couple face downs to tap for it, just try to tap those face downs. If it's like 7 or 8 speed, this will be a great tool to have. Mm-hmm. Also, it's another thing to pick up with Toy Touch. Yes. So being able to reuse this gets you a little bit more action going. Next, we have another 2 of Forbidden Ansatsuken. So this is basically 2 of because it's not a super powerful card, but I thought, it's a solid tool. It's good to be able it's just a good tool to have in your staging area. 2 speed or 2 damage. Kind of can help you back your opponent into a corner. where they either have to block your early attacks or it's great to ready with Bloody Eye Rushdown.
Yeah.
You can try to make your Bloody Eye Rushdown so fast that if they block it, it'll cost them like their entire staging area, that kind of thing. Or it helps fight back against damage reduction too, which is I think potentially a kind of a hole with this deck is that if they just DR all of your non-Shinko Hadoken attacks, they'll need to block the Shinko Hadokens.
Yeah.
And especially if they're reducing it to 0, you don't get momentum after it resolves at the end of the turn. So this is a good tool to have that. Next up, we have Reactive Style. This is again this deck ended up having a lot of 4-checks, and I don't think that's a problem because Ryu helps you pass your checks.
Yeah.
And you should be planning kind of to check 3s too. In the worst case, it's good to plan for the worst case scenario. Although it's also important to have a best case scenario that'll actually beat people who are defending. Anyway, so Reactive Style either can help you get a momentum to have a super duper lethal Shinko Hadoken, or if your opponent relies on momentum, and there are a lot of decks where this E flip your opponent discards momentum, that is actually a crushing blow against a lot of people. If you play against Spike 2,
yeah.
He commits to then I'm gonna multiple out this M3C Devastator cannon. You're just like, well, with what momentum? Discard that one. Discard that one. I don't know where you're gonna get it on.
Yeah.
And yeah, so it's a flexible card. You can go either defensively, just denying your opponent momentum, or offensively to power up your Hadokens, or even just if you're leading off with a choke throw and you need to get a second momentum to power up your Toy Touch for +2/+2, because you need 2 momentum for that. This can help you fill in that. So I love this card. I think that more people should play it. It's awesome. It's very, very powerful and it's fun. So next up we have one of Jiangxi. So I like to think of this. So this card, the second ability, the reason this is a one of. The second ability says E-commit. This deck is -2 damage, only playable if there are no other copies of this card in your staging area. So just like Flipping on Satsuken, the other ability is +2 damage. That's good to have. That's useful. You like that in your deck. It's okay to play 2 of these if you want to, or whatever. But it's at 1 of, because I call this card a virtual unique. So it's a card that gets a lot worse in multiple copies. So, and it's not a super incredibly powerful card. It's not like you would never play 4 of this card unless like a very different metagame existed. Like there are much better cards for what this does than when you have 2 copies in play. So this is like I kind of point this out as as a beginner. If you're evaluating cards and you see a card like this where it doesn't say unique on it, but they get much worse in multiple copies, that's a card you should lower your counts down and consider only playing 1 of. The -2 damage is really good. It's a very useful defensive ability, but it's just a 1 of because 2 copies get a lot worse.
Yeah, it does.
So next up we have last in the 2-deck slot we have 4 copies of Balanced Fighter. Again, this is I think a lot of people consider this a staple, and I think correctly so. There are a lot of attacks. So returning an attack to printed speed. I already mentioned the static on Design Combat, but you can start Design Combat, draw a card, draw an extra card. And I think that's the only card in this deck that plays off of that, but it's a good thing to look out for. Actually, against characters like Ed and 9 who are making you discard your hand, it can be a clutch play to hold this back to screw up their math.
Yep.
But returning attack printed speed is it's not only a defensive resource, which is the main use of it, because there are a lot of people who are speed pumping their attacks. Mad Perot adds 2 speed on the face, plus he plays a bunch of speed and damage bumps in the staging area, or Punch and Judy combos.
Yep.
There's all kinds of characters who are pumping speed. And Chaos isn't great at defending against that, so Balance Fighter is very important. Also, multiple copies face-down attacks have a printed speed of 0, so that this is very useful to help block anyone who's playing speedy multiple attacks like Flying Yamato Spear or any of Spike's multiples that are all at least 4 speed that he's going to multiple out. So this is a very powerful card. It doesn't have a block, so there's a drawback here. This deck draws cards pretty significantly, and it's unfortunate when you draw a card and it doesn't have a block, but it's still worth it as a 4 of because this will be useful. And also defensively, or on offense, this card still has uses because especially if you're playing against an all order or void deck, you might be playing Fei Fei, which flips for -3 speed, and while that's still it's still a bit of a pain because as Ryu, you're adding speed to your attacks, and you won't return it back up to that 5 that you normally put it to. This still puts more speed on it, and so you can force your opponent to commit their staging area. And it's a play to look out for. You shouldn't forget that Balanced Fighter can be used on both sides of the coin.
Yep.
So that's the end of our 2 diffs, and now in our 3 diffs, we're actually playing 8 of them, which is more than you would typically want to, especially in a 22 attack deck, because when you draw Draw your opening hand. You have like 2 or 3 difficulty foundations. That's very awkward. You don't want to play them all in your first turn, especially if you're going first, because the 6 doesn't have 2 checks, but you check a 3 a fairly sizable portion of the time, starting with 22 attacks. But I'll introduce the Hunt for Spiders and Dragons first. So the key here is that the Hunt for Spiders and Dragons isn't really a foundation. It's more of an action card.
Yep.
I guess actually, if I look at my text, the response is actually not playable on anything.
Okay.
So this card only has one ability. It has one thing.
But it's a really good ability.
It is an incredible ability. So it's when you play it in your card pool before you attack. Then you play an attack. A Toy Touch is even ideal here, but a Magnet Slam, any 4 difficulty attack, even a Choke throw on a 6.
Yep.
You might have to get some foundations for that, but then you'll pull the spiders onto your staging area, ready to be used for other control checks, and flip one of your opponent's cards. So this is a surgical knife to cut apart your opponent's defenses.
Yeah.
If they're playing a card like Sweet Nothings, if they're playing any foundations that we're trying to print it, all the stuff we talked about with Bloody Eye Rushdown, this is an unconditional answer to all of that, to anything they have, any foundation they have anyway. Where Bloody Eye Rushdown, if they just block, they can keep that card up, and strong players will just you can commit them out all but one foundation. That last foundation will be refusing to let go, and you won't be able to kill them.
True.
That happens all the damn time. But Spiders and Dragons turns that face down, not a problem anymore, no abilities. And also, it gives you a foundation back.
Yep.
This is an incredible card. It's an absolute staple. Maybe it's a little less meta-defining than it once was, because there are the decks have gotten better, and there's also police connections now, which is a card to look out for if you're planning your turn out.
Yep.
Which just kind of magnets. If you spiders them, you have to flip police connections instead. But play this card as an action card before you attack. Play your spiders out. This is the best target for Toy Touch too.
Yeah.
Because you play spiders, you Toy Touch on 3, comes down, you pick spiders back up, you play it again, and then you play another attack and flip another target. You really just tear their board apart and hopefully leave them with nothing that can protect them from Ryu Shinku Hadoken.
It feels bad when your opponent does that with multiple Toy Touches. I've had that happen. It's not fun. It makes you feel really bad, but hey, doesn't the breaks.
So the other 3 difficulty foundation is Surveyor, and I touched on this a little bit earlier, but this is a very powerful, very flexible tool. This deck has a lot of low attacks, and so adding 3 damage to them is a big chunk of damage. If you can force your opponent to be blocking Bloody Eye Rushdowns or even Toy Touches or Magnet Slams, Surveyor adds a ton of damage output to all of those. You can really end a game quickly if you just start pumping Surveyor pumps on things. But also, and more importantly, really, is the ability to add momentum back to your hand. So what you want to do is that on turn 2, say, you play some pokes, you play a Surveyor, you pass the turn, you play defense. Then on turn 3, maybe your pokes hit, and you draw your hand. You have a Shinku Hadoken, but you just grayed out. You drew only foundations for the rest of it. Well, your Surveyor can get back those pokes you landed last turn, and then you can string together that key 3-attack string to power up the powerful mode. And also, just this puts more cards in your hand, so you can actually pay for the add 2 cards to your hand. You're running with the longer string. Just the ability. This is just if you're a Magic player, if you've played other card games, you may be familiar with the idea of card advantage. Card advantage exists in UFS, but it's still very important, but it's much weirder because there's a lot of other things going on around it. Surveyor just is a excellent source of card advantage. It puts very high quality cards back into your hand so that you can then, beat your opponent up with your awesome hand. And also, I touched on Choke Throw, the Choke Throw lock, where you're just chipping them out until they finally to make them cry uncle, and you can finally put together your big attack string. This is just a great card, and there are 4 copies in this deck because you always want it, even though it can be kind of clunky. Yeah. If you draw a lot of attacks, if you ever check badly on a big string, it can get rough, but this lets you win games. This lets you grind your opponents out if you can't get the big immediate rush down. And that's why it's a 4-of.
What's awesome is that a lot of the time, and before Bebop came out, Surveyor was mostly a one-time use card before Bloody Eye Rushdown, unless you had ways to ready your foundations, but Rushdown allows you to ready it in the middle of your turn, so you can pump 3 damage, or maybe you need that last attack. But yeah, that's a great addition. That's a really neat combo right there for new players to look out on, because a lot of the times Magnet Slam 8 damage with Ryu. That is usually for the most time sometimes unblockable 8 damage, and that's pretty good. Suck on that, Vengeance of the Fallen Angel. So,
and so finally, there's one last card. This deck is a minimum size deck. It has 37 foundations, 22 attacks. You're allowed to play. You have to play a total of 60 cards. Your starting character counts in that. So far, we've touched on 58 cards. So 59 foundation. Well, 59 if you count whatever. The last card is Brother in Arts, and this is a one-of in the starter deck. And I think it's a perfect one-of. It is literally unique. It says unique on it, so you can't have two in play. This gives you another thing to spend your momentum on. In addition to just surveyoring them and stacking them up for Ryu Hadoken, and it changes attacks to mid-zone, and it's even playable ultimate. So even if they stun you out and they're playing high or low attacks, you can make it so that you're any design for combat, any bridging the races, any wanted mans, or any there's a lot of mid-blocks in this deck. Anyway, Blood Air Rampage, good modifiers. This deck is the most mid-blocks of any zone, and so if you're drawing cards off of Ryu, you're most likely to draw a mid-block. About a third of the time you will. And so Brothers in Arts can make it so that you're going to be able to fully block an attack even with those mid blocks. Because a lot of people don't play a lot of mid attacks.
Yeah.
In today's meta, people either play all mid attacks or very few mid attacks.
Yeah.
And this helps you kind of defeat the zone mix-up game that I was touching on in the attack lineup, where if your opponent is doing that, if they're playing highs and lows and they're trying to confuse you, Brothers in Arms just lets you say, okay, I'm going to invest in momentum here. It's a real cost, but I'm going to change it to mid to be able to fully block it. And then also, if your opponent's playing a lot of card draw, that arc commit ability is very potent. Being able to just, keep up with your opponent on cards, card advantage is very important. This is a great ability to have. Just +2 cards, you can build out a bigger staging area, you can draw more attacks, you can draw more blocks.
Could you do that to the Coffee Samba enhance? Or is
I think it wouldn't work on Coffee Samba.
It wouldn't?
No.
Okay, because it's considered a cost, right?
After your opponent adds 2 cards to their hand,
to their effect. Okay, yeah, that's right. It has to be to their effect.
Cost.
Darn it.
Coffee sounds really weird.
That'd be really sweet to just go up 4 cards on your opponent. That'd be sweet. I'd love. That'd be awesome.
Well, I wouldn't suggest doing that too much because it is Coffee Samba, and they're going to stun you for 4 more.
That's also true. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, you want to do that. Well, maybe if you have Sweet Nothings on board, you let them give you 2 cards, rip 2 more cards, and then Sweet Nothings out, and you're just like, okay, I'm cool. I'm good.
Or if you're just clutching a Bloody Eye Rampage, and they're already going to stun you out all the way, that +1 bit block is good enough.
Yeah, there you go. Sweet.
So that's the deck. It's kind of a beatdown oriented deck, but it's got a little bit. It's got a kind of a second gear to shift into if your opponent's got a lot of vitality or a lot of defense. It's got its own defensive resources, and it's certainly got. I certainly hope Ryu Chaos Deck it's enough to finish some people off, leave themselves open to it. As long as they can beat them up in there.
So say a player picks this up, they do really well at locals with it. What are some cards that they may want to add in, maybe to take it to like a PTC or maybe like a nationals event? I know we don't see a lot of Ryu out there in the majors, but say a local guy wants to pick it up and take it to like a PTC. What are some cards you think?
That's a good question. I think the first one that crossed my mind, I'm not sure if this is actually a good idea, is from the Platinum set, is One with Nature.
Okay.
It lets you discard, it triggers when you discard cards, so it triggers on Design for Combat to add a bit of damage, but also it gives you +2 speed for every card you discard. Or as its top enhanced, effectively gives your attack +2 speed. It's even +2 speed that's fully compatible with Design for Combat of that. So that's a card that I didn't include here because it was kind of from a weird set, it'd be hard to get.
Yep.
Another card might be Skull Barrier.
Sure.
Just if maybe even as a sideboard card,
yeah.
I would think of that as a start. Because it is a really incredible defensive resource. It's +0 block, automatically puts itself as a reversal, so if they don't want to take 4 damage from Ryu, they have to block it and give you +1 to your check. And also, if you have 2 momentum lying around, the responsibility is just about the best defensive ability in the game. It's Sweet Nothings with no drawback.
Yep.
And it's a surprise to your opponent, so they have to plan way ahead to be able to stop that. I think that the Chaos Symbol is kind of a tricky spot. I think that this deck's already kind of I'm not quite saying scraping the barrel, but I think if you wanted to kind of build it in a different direction, you might need to kind of take out a lot of the core pieces and kind of reorient it.
Okay.
Woodman's Leaf Shield is a great card to have, but I don't know if it's necessarily compatible with what the rest of the deck is doing, for example.
I get it. Yeah. Would you think like a card like Dodge would fit well in here, or would that be
Dodge is probably a good tool to have.
Okay.
Yeah. You could certainly just like add a bunch of dodges and then even replace some of the foundations with EV with Gren. That's a really powerful combo.
Yeah. There you go.
because you really just kind of cover yourself up. You prevent your opponent from dealing damage to you, so that shuts them off. Dodge is just a great card. Mm-hmm. And then you can be holding one card in hand. If you have 2 Inhuman Strands and 2 Dodge Meters in that pile, it's really hard to kill you.
Yeah, exactly. All right, cool. I appreciate that. I'll page back over to see your face. There we go. So, Kevin, I want to say thanks. I appreciate it for taking the time out and helping out the new players out in the community. I had one guy message me or post on about he's teaching people with the Chun-Li deck that Justin Pardo did from our last video. So hopefully we get some good feedback with the Ryu deck because it looks fun. So I may take it to my local and try it out because I don't know. I like trying different things. I don't like playing meta beaters, world beaters every week, even though it's PTC season and we have to train up for it. So
see, if you whip the kids with this one, like that's like your dad's like walking around to the cave and he's beating you. He's like still whooping your ass. Like kid, you gotta hit the gym here, all right? Awesome. But yeah, I built this deck. This has a lot of cards I love bridging the race. Then I got a foundation. I won a foundation from Legacy, and I built it into a copy of Bridging the Race. I love that card. It's really fun for me. Mm-hmm. That's a card this deck needs.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
It comes with a price. You need 1 copy. It's a true unique. It's a spam, but it can ready itself after you get a momentum. Great card to have.
Yeah, there you go. Is there anything you want to plug or anything for your show? Anything you want to plug before we end?
Yeah, not really.
Okay.
Well, we have a show on Wednesday nights. So we don't do it every week. Top Deck Heroes. It's myself, Jesse Cervini, sometimes Sean O'Brien, sometimes other guests from the community. We kind of just talk over what's going on in UFS these days.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's something I haven't been doing lately, so I have to ask. So.
Yeah, we've missed a couple weeks. Actually, if you want a real plug, if you want to hear a product you should buy, check out Secret Hitler. That game is incredibly fun. It's a $40 board game. You're playing as a parliamentary assembly. You're going through parliamentary procedures in a 1930s Germany setting, trying to protect the country or overthrow the country against the threat of fascism. It's really fun. It's great. It's by the guys who do Card Against Humanity.
Okay.
It's a great purchase. You should check it out. We've been playing that a lot instead of UFS lately.
What about the event in August? Do you want to talk anything about that before we go, or you want to save that for
Top Deck? Really kind of the opposite end of the spectrum. So we were talking about, this is a beginner deck for people who maybe don't have the most experience, want to just kind of learn about the game engine, see what's going on there. This August, and we're still locking in the venue, the dates, so apologies about that, but really locking in everything. So we're doing something to the opposite of the entrenched players who've been around since you've been around since forever. That's great, but people who've been playing since Jasco Games acquired the game back when they first printed the Natali promo in Lava Land. We want to make those cards worth something. And the people who maybe have Neomax cards, they're going to rotate out of Standard. It's really a shame that Noah's kind of seen its stock going down, but Nivos, Ryujin Kyaku, this big ultra rares like Maxima Laser or Shiranui Ryu Kunushi-no-Man. Yeah. If you play the card, I love that card.
Yeah, that card's awesome.
And it's worth this now.
Yeah.
And that's a damn shame. So what this event is it's an introduction to a new format we're going to try to get supported. We're going to hopefully we're going to get I was talking to JT and Jason and Shane and Luke at Worlds about this, and they actually want to try to make this something that's not going to just be one event like Extended was, but we want to try to push it out and have this be something that you can actually. This will be we're going to have the premiere of this new format.
Okay.
And I have a bunch of ideas for the name for it.
Sweet.
That I like Die Hard. I think is a really sweet name, but I haven't run that by anyone, so. So it's going to be a format it's not going to be rotating. It's going to be kind of a permanent basis.
Yeah.
And you're going to get to play with your old cards.
Oh, cool.
And even some of the broken ones are still going to be available here. And my big vision for it is that the ban list isn't going to be a static thing. So if you love Vespera, she is kind of cancerous to a lot of people's having fun. Really strong players can have fun playing Vespera. Not everyone can. But I want you to be able to play your Vespera cards every once in a while in this format.
That's awesome.
My vision is that there'll be a rotating ban list. We're going to have a first ban list for this event. And I think the idea was that we would iterate on that. We'd say, okay, what worked, what didn't work in the kind of the league promo, the league sense when it's going to go out to stores and have price support for players at a local level.
And
we're really hoping that people will, like this will be something that people can really like latch onto, buy into. If you're sick of standard, if you're sick of losing to Jet and Punch and Judy and all this Spike 2 and all this nonsense, pull out the weapons that you've been holding in your closet for a couple of years.
Some paralyzing touches.
Really slap them around with the good stuff.
Yeah, some paralyzing touches, some no-mides. Yeah, maybe some HRKs to the face. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Like if you're sick of have you ever? This has been happening to me a bunch. I've been playing Showoken, right?
Okay.
Shuts down my opponent's ability to kick cards out of the discard pile. It just shuts down all this stuff. And then the assholes play a bunch of low attacks, and I can't block with my Showoken. I can't do it. It doesn't work. Didn't
HRK hit a +1 mid block? Didn't it?
A +1 mid block. If you're sick of Spike 2, you HRK his first attack every time. He's done. Can't do anything.
Yeah, there you go. We need HRK back. You heard it here, Jessica. We need HRK back. We do.
And plus, Spike, he chip shots just like this day. He grinds your life total down bit by bit, and he gives you a big finish.
Yeah.
It's multiple. HRK gains you 3 life back.
Oh yeah.
So that's a great tool to have too.
Oh definitely. Yeah, I miss that card. I miss No My too. I miss that card was one of my favorites. Definitely. Okay, cool. Well, I appreciate it, Kevin. We're gonna end the episode, and I appreciate.
Watch your calendar. We're trying really hard to have an announcement as soon as possible. It's like 3 months out at this point. We're really really need to get this turned over. But
okay. No, I think there's some excitement. I know some people on the Discord channel were talking about it, and Thomas Gordon's probably gonna break out his old Gabrick deck. So, but
yes.
But Quan Chi's basically a better version. But we won't get there. We won't go into that. So
I hope that we once we have this locked in, we can generate some excitement. We get some people building decks. We build see what this is going to be a new frontier of UFS.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways. We haven't seen. It's like a lot of cards, old cards are similar or even a little stronger than Bebop.
Yeah.
Back then, they were almost seen as mistakes when a card got that good. It was Divine Tribulation. Oh, this card is cancer. I can't do this card. It got banned. Banned Divine Tribulation.
Yep.
Now we have a character with a 3-check +1 mid-block Divine Tribulation.
Yeah.
So it'll be really exciting to see how people shake it out.
Mm-hmm. And then like Kaplows and all that stuff. That's gonna be great. Oh, definitely. Gonna love playing some Kaplow. I miss playing that card too. So,
if you want to beat up the kids down at the local card shop, Kaplow is the card for you.
Yep. I remember getting reversed with that. That's not fun at all. So, all right. So we'll see you probably the next time. I'll probably see you if not on another show. Kevin will probably be the Rockford PTC. So
yeah.
So we'll hopefully.
That's only like 6 weeks out, right?
Oh yeah, it's the first about 6 weeks. Yeah. So
looking forward to it, man.
The premier PTC. That's what I'm calling it. It's the best PTC in all the land. So. Well,
see, the big challenge I think for you, Chris, is going to be your PTC is going to be great. It's going to have a ton of all-stars in attendance. Yeah. It's going to have great competition. It's going to have great prizes, great store. Your store is awesome. They love the game. You're going to have the second or third coolest prize in the game, where you get to write on the giant wall of victors of champions.
Yeah.
I was my heart warmed when I saw that. I still scribbled not over yet from when I won that card 3 years ago. But the challenge is going to be, can you live up to the Atlanta Pro Tour circuit? Not in competition, not in depth of the field of how many campfires are in pits, but can your cookout live up to the Shea Piglet?
I don't know. That's tough, man. That's a tough challenge there.
I believe in you, Chris. I think you could put on a party as good as Piglets.
We will try.
I believe you. But it's going to be, you're going to have to put your best foot forward.
We have plans, so, and I got to get with Trent at Trent's house, so I got to get with him and figure out all the details, so. But again, awesome. All right, we'll see you again, Kevin, and thanks for coming on the show and teaching some good knowledge. Appreciate it.
Yeah, my pleasure, Chris.